lashing out about the VA, but not really at the man in charge of the VA. President Obama vowing to get to the bottom of this mess, stopping short of ousting the guy many say is responsible for this mess, at least as the big cheese. Secretary Shinseki. Retired Gunnery Sergeant Jessie Jane Duff says the president didn't go far enough. Jesse, I see where you're coming from, but he did put him on a very short leash, if you think about it. Report back to me in a week. Look, I'm using these by White House standards. An investigation has to be done a week after that, and then the guy could be toast. What do you think of that?
I don't think he's going to fire him. Nobody gets fired under this administration. You know what he said is that he gave
slowly walked the plank, though. Sebelius years late, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what happens.
Well, you know, when I listened to the speech, it was lackluster, and it gave me the impression that he gave Secretary Shinseki great credit for reducing a backlog. But this is a backlog that Secretary Shinseki created. The backlog got as high as over 600,000 veterans in 2013. Okay, when he came into office, it was at a little over 89,000 veterans. We now have close to 300,000 veterans that are still in a benefits backlog. I mean, I'm just appalled at this.
And by the way, to your point, Sergeant, I mean, a benefit backlog is one thing. Soldiers dying is quite another. Waiting for care. I mean, there is a night and day difference between getting some paperwork and getting a toe tag, you know?
However, 55 veterans died a day in 2011 by the VA's own records, waiting on their benefits in that backlog. So there are many veterans who have died, who never got care because they couldn't even get their paperwork processed. The VA's own memo in 2010 said, "We will no longer game the system. Stop doing it." That was 4 years ago. What did these executives do? They continued to game the system. They prolonged these appointments. They had fake lists that demonstrated that they only had veterans waiting 14 days for an appointment, when in reality they were waiting for 4, 5, even 6 months, if not longer.
But what is the problem with the VA? I mean, as long as I can remember now, it's gone over years, the president was trying to say this is a decades-long problem. Technically, he's right, and exponentially it's growing as more veterans retire and the rest. But the fact of the matter is, it has been well known to be an unwieldy, a poor responsive agency. Do we just keep putting the same type of folks in there? Is it such outside of some key positions, civilians running this? What's going on?
Well, it's typical government bureaucracy, okay? So the VA has the second largest budget next to DOD. They have over 300,000 employees, so it's not a lack of resources. It's not a money problem. It's a management problem. However, under this administration, the backlog has grown significantly, and it's not because of the wars. It's because they finally recognized Agent Orange illness and PTSD. Those two things alone were not recognized till 2009. What happened? A flood of claims came in. Now you have a flood of veterans that are trying to get in for health care, and they can't even see them. They have to see them in emergency rooms, and often they can't get in for their appointments. So it's a bureaucracy that's layered in muck. That's essentially what it boils down to.
Jessie Jane Duff, thank you very, very much. Shepard has an update for us from Mother Nature. Shep.